welcome to another episode of Love on the Pod podcast, where we discuss all your favorite deliciously cheesy, made for TV movies with humor and fun, and a few surprises along the way. This is episode 4, and I'm Sherri.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Jessica. And this week we watched A Cozy Christmas Inn, which was on Hallmark. It was released on October 28th of this year. What did you guys think of this movie?
Oh my gosh. I loved this movie.
Me too.
I absolutely loved it. My favorite kind of Christmas Christmas movie is when there is romance and magic. And I feel like it incorporated both of those things, and I loved it.
And as the designated details girl, I really appreciated that there was real snow. It was filmed in the dead of winter. So when you saw those snow scenes, they were really cold and they were really getting snowed on.
I did not know that.
That's not normal for Hallmark. So I loved that little piece. It was very different. And it just gave it more believability, I feel like, than any other Hallmark movie I've seen.
I think so too. And you could just tell how cold they were.
Oh, yes. Okay, so shall we start with a summary?
Let's do it.
So real estate exec Erica travels to Alaska during the holidays, not the holidays, to acquire a B&B, only to discover it's owned by her ex. Although I'm now realizing that this official Hallmark summary is wrong because it's not a B&B. We established that they don't do room service. So Hallmark, you gotta fix that.
Check your facts.
It's actually an inn that she wants to acquire. It's owned by her ex, and soon she is falling in love with the town and quite possibly him.
Oh,
so sweet. It is starring Jodie Sweetin, and I would be lying if I said this wasn't the reason why I chose this movie. It absolutely was. She has 2 holiday movies coming out this year, so I'm excited to see the next one, which will be on Lifetime, I believe. And then her male counterpart was David O'Donnell, who we've seen in a lot of Hallmark movies. The movie was directed by Peter Sullivan. It was written by Jennifer Nolis Shapiro, and it was filmed in Huntsville, Utah in December of last year. So that's something a little bit different, is that they usually don't film these movies so far in advance. So usually they're ready to release them a week later, right after they're done filming.
True. They're cranking them out quick.
Can we talk about how much David O'Donnell looks like Patrick Dempsey?
He does.
Oh my gosh.
See that?
I was seeing it the whole movie through, and I finally Googled it, and it's a thing. There are blogs about how they are the creepiest doppelgangers because they look so much alike, but there is no relation whatsoever. And I just thought that was amazing. He looks so much like it, like they could be brothers.
So put him up in a picture next to Dad, right? Because our dad looks like Patrick Dempsey as well.
That's true. Yes. Well, and I did a little search on Jodie Sweetin because we all love her. We know her from Full House, Fuller House. She has 2.5 million Instagram followers, and she's a self-described mom, actress, activist, author, podcaster, and enjoyer of this strange little ride through the universe. I thought that was really cute.
And it's cute.
Her podcast is great. Have you guys listened to it?
I have. I just love her.
It's funny. It's called Never Thought I'd Say This, and she does it with her best friend. And it's basically like BS that happens in motherhood. Is basically what they talk about. Like, why did my kid put a slice of cheese in their shoe and then put it in the fridge, or whatever, just random things that their kids do.
And why? Did they ever figure it out?
That's
I don't
awesome.
know that they ever figure it out.
But it's just fun to talk about that stuff because kids do the weirdest things.
Yes.
They really do.
They totally do. So because we took a 2-week break between recording podcasts, we definitely watched some more Hallmark Lifetime and GAC movies. So we thought we'd chat about those just a little bit today. One that I watched actually just last night is called Next Stop Christmas. Have you guys seen that one before?
I have not.
So it has Leah Thompson and Christopher Lloyd in it, which I loved.
Oh, I love Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, it's a Hallmark movie. And it's about this girl who has, of course, a demanding career. She's always missing Christmas with her family. And she gets a chance to go back in time a little over a decade and fix what she essentially messed up the last perfect Christmas that she had. And it was really cute. I really liked it.
Is that an older one?
I think it's a few years old. Yeah.
Because it does sound a little bit familiar. I feel like I remember it. Does Christopher Lloyd play like kind of an enchanting character? Like,
He's a train
I have
conductor.
seen that.
yeah, I think I did watch that.
I think it came out last year or the year before that, maybe.
I should have checked.
Yeah, that is good.
It's very cute.
Well, I watched Noelle Next Door, starring Natalie Hall and Corey Sevier, who we know from Pumpkin Everything that we talked about a couple of podcasts ago. And in this one, it just came out this year on Hallmark. It's about single mom Noelle, and she works at the local diner where she has become very smitten with the frequent customer Jeremy. Noelle and Jeremy keep having chance run-ins, and there's a mutual attraction. But despite their obvious chemistry, Jeremy can't understand why a beautiful woman like Noelle would be attracted to him, as he has suffered a stroke 5 or 6 years ago, which left his left arm and left leg affected, and he walks with a cane. However, this did not stop them from going ice skating very well, I might add. They never really addressed that. He skates beautifully, and then he gets off the ice and starts.
He hobbles off the ice.
Oh my gosh! Why?
So that was one little detail that maybe got overlooked.
Could they have played some holiday poker or something instead of ice skating?
Took a weird holiday pie baking class or something.
Yeah,
I don't know,
or addressed it. Just had it so that Noelle had to help him because he loves ice skating, but it's difficult for him to do now.
Yes,
something
he just got right on the ice and he was Brian Boitano and just skated off. So Noelle learns that her son Henry has had a run-in with the neighborhood Scrooge in Unit 224. And who do you suppose grumpy Mr. Gare turns out to be? Jeremy. So I feel like you want to say something, Danny.
Yeah, is Jeremy Corey Sevier?
Yes.
How did I not? We just watched Pumpkin Everything, and I just watched Noelle Next Door yesterday or the day before. I did not even put it together. That was the same person.
I think because he plays a very different character, so maybe you just didn't associate the two.
That's so funny. I
thought it was a cute movie. Tune in to find out what you think and if their love will survive the little ups and downs they have to face. But I enjoyed it. I recommend it.
I did too. Mm-hmm. I thought it was very cute. And I thought the little boy did a really good job. I don't know what the actor's name was, but I thought he was really cute and did a really nice job.
I did not watch Noelle Next Door, so I will have to watch that one in the next week or two. Fit it in among all the other new releases that are coming out.
Many good ones. And it's not just Hallmark, it's Lifetime, it's Great American Family, it's Netflix. So
I will tell you though, there are an equal number of bad ones as well, because there are several that I started that I just had to turn them off.
I agree.
You couldn't even get through.
I think a lot of them are a few years old. I think they're getting better as we go, but yeah, man, some of those are tough.
I agree. Yeah. I feel like the older they are, the kind of the worse they get. I watched one last year that was, I believe it was called Saving Christmas in Santaland. It was terrible. I watched the whole thing because darn it, they were cute, but it was terrible. It was really bad.
And then there are the terrible ones where you're like, you know what, this is so awful, but I will watch it again and again because I just love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's going to be a happy ending. So
that's like my very favorite TV movie for the holidays is Holiday in Handcuffs. And that one is pretty darn cheesy. And there's some production things where you're like, I'm not sure that makes sense.
And the whole concept is bizarre, but we love that one.
Yes.
I own a copy of that one. That's how much I love it.
Yes. I love it too. Danny, did you watch any other ones?
Yes, I watched Christmas Bedtime Stories today. I watched it with Abigail, my daughter, and we both loved it. and I cried multiple times. It is so good. It was a Hallmark Movies and Mysteries one, so it was a little bit more of a serious tone, but it was about a military family who had lost their dad, and the story is about the mom and her journey kind of, I believe it's like 3 years later around Christmas time, telling bedtime stories to her daughter, stories about her late husband. And it is so good. I absolutely loved it. Of course, there were a few things here and there where I thought, maybe they could have done that a little bit better, just because I like to analyze. But it really got me. It pulled at my heartstrings. Highly recommend it. If you have not seen it, definitely watch it.
I am in a Facebook group for Hallmark Christmas movies, and a lot of people had a problem with the ending. Did you feel like the ending was good or bad or?
Yeah. So I loved the idea of the ending. I just felt like it was rushed. And because it was rushed, it was unrealistic. And so it felt like they just kind of threw the ending together. I liked the story. It just happened too quickly for it to be believable. Mm-hmm. So I wish that part had been drawn out a little bit, either make the movie longer or cut out some of the stuff that happened before it. Because I really thought it was a beautiful ending, but I just wish it wouldn't have happened so quickly, because I don't want to give it away because you guys haven't seen it, but it just wasn't possible for it to have happened. So if it had been drawn out a little bit longer, it would have flowed much nicer.
And I feel like that happens a lot with some, and it's not just Hallmark, but a lot of these movies that are done in such a short time frame. It's like they spend all this time developing the story, and then they have to wrap it all up. And so it seems like it all comes together very quickly. And that's the thing that I think is lacking in a lot of them, where I want to see an ending really develop and see it to its fullest.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they have an opportunity, because they start releasing holiday films in October, to do a series, right? To do part 1 is in October, part 2 is November, part 3 is December. I don't think they've done that before, but if they had more of a story to tell, like with that example, they could spread it out a little bit more with 3, 90-minute movies.
And what a fantastic marketing idea to ensure that people come back because they want to hear the next part of the story. That's a great idea. Hallmark, are you listening?
You get personally invested, so you want to follow them on their journey. I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just coming up with ideas that are better than the pumpkin candles in the back of the store. So,
you deserve a star hairpin.
Hallmark can put me on payroll anytime. All right. Any other movies that you guys wanted to talk about?
I don't think so today. I have a lot that I want to watch. So
yes.
For next week.
I keep starting them and then I fall asleep. So then I forget what it was even called, and then I don't go back to it. I did watch Mistletoe in Montana, though, that had Melissa Joan Hart in it. It was okay, but I love her, so I'll watch anything that she's in. So
yes.
And the dad was Jamie Sheridan, who plays the dad in All I Want for Christmas.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I like that too. It was cute. It was on Lifetime, so it's actually on the Friendly app right now, so you can look it up if you want to watch it. All right. So shall we dig into A Cozy Christmas Inn?
Let's do
it. Oh, look at us.
All right. All right. So A Cozy Christmas Inn. This movie opens with Erica decorating her office Christmas tree when she gets interrupted by her boss, Sharon, who's played by Vivica A. Fox. And she wants to purchase the Garland Inn in Garland, Alaska. Sharon tells her that she's going to send her to Alaska to close the deal. I love how the boss in this scene starts talking about how wonderful the observatory is, and then asks her if she's into astrology. Like you have no idea.
Erica's response is so perfect. How she's just like, yes, I like astronomy.
Like, this is the first example of what a great actress Jodie Sweetin is. It was just perfectly said. It was so funny. I loved it.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Well, and this is the proverbial boss who comes in and asks her if she has any plans for the holidays. And she says, well, yes, I do. I'm going to spend it with my parents. Good. So you can drop everything and go to Alaska. She doesn't care. Nobody has a life outside of the home or
No.
outside of the job.
Because what Sharon wants, Sharon gets.
Sharon gets, yes.
With the dates that they show us later, this is a few days before Christmas. This is
Mhm.
not very far ahead of time. It's not like, hey, in 3 weeks, can you go? It's like, no, today's probably the 20th. Can you go tomorrow? It's very weird.
This is when most offices are saying, okay, we're going to wrap it up and you're going to go take some time with your family for the rest of the
Yes.
holiday season. But nope, she's sending her to Garland, Alaska.
Yes.
Well, and I feel like we see this in this kind of movie a lot, where either the person doesn't have any holiday plans, they're planning to spend it alone, working at home or whatever, or they have an overpowering boss that assumes that they can just drop everything and go. And it does make me wonder, because I've never had a corporate job in that capacity. It does make me wonder if this is a common theme. I don't know. Maybe that is something that happens a lot. I've never worked in that kind of position, so I don't know.
Well, and her boss, Sharon, is very driven and she knows that Erica wants this big promotion. So she assumes that she's going to do whatever it takes to get there, including drop kicking Christmas and flying off to Alaska.
Well,
Right. And I sorry. I thought that Vivica Fox did a great job playing that role, because even though what she's saying sucks, it comes across in almost a nice way,
Mhm.
because she has such a smile on her face, and it's just the poise at which she presents what she's about to say that you like her, even though she's being awful.
Mhm.
So after the scene, we move on. Erica calls her best friend to tell her about the trip. And we find out that there is more than one reason why she does not want to go to Alaska.
And can I just interject that her best friend's name is Stephanie,
Yes.
which I immediately thought was a Full House reference because Jodie Sweetin played the part of Stephanie Tanner, but was it a coincidence? I don't know.
Yes, I wondered that too, because before we meet her friend, they just panned by the outside of the restaurant and it says Stephanie's.
Mhm.
And I also had the same thought. Maybe it was just a nod to Jodie Sweetin's Full House character, but then we find out that's actually her friend's name. And there was a scene where they're sitting and chatting with each other, and Jodie Sweetin goes, Steph. And I just had to laugh, because I thought, I wonder if that was weird for her to call someone else Steph.
Yeah.
You know?
I really feel like the cinematography in this part in particular of the movie was really good. I feel like the editing is so good. They're cutting into scenes really well in a way that's creative, in a way that's different from a lot of these TV movies that we see, where it's very expected of, okay, next scene. But I just feel like they did a really good job with that.
I do too.
Mhm.
Because a lot of movies, especially the made for TV movies, you can see where they chop it for a commercial and then they pan back in after they come back from the commercial break. And this was pretty seamless throughout.
I agree. So now we're going to cut over to Andy, who is greeting guests at the Garland Inn, and then he's video chatting with his dad in the lobby. So his dad is played by Brian Doyle Murray, who we have seen in movies like Caddyshack, Scrooged, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and Groundhog Day. And fun fact for you that I did not know, he is Bill Murray's brother.
No kidding.
Really?
Yes. They look identical. They look so much alike.
Oh, is he
Oh
the
my
boss
gosh.
in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yep.
Okay, I knew that voice.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. He gave him the Jam of the Month Club.
Yes. Wow, my mind is blown.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
he's the one who pulls the groundhog out on Groundhog Day, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Huh, interesting.
And I loved him in this role. I thought he was perfect. He did a great
Yes.
job.
He was
He's-
fantastic.
Yeah, just so good. And his voice is like so cheery and grandpa-ish, and I love it.
And
Mhm.
jolly.
Yes, and jolly. So Erica heads to dinner with her best friend Stephanie, and the conversation reveals that Andy was Erica's boyfriend, but they broke up when he moved to Alaska. His former girlfriend, Lauren, took a job in San Francisco, and it's assumed that they are no longer dating.
Okay, but I did not know that this movie was a sequel before I watched it. So as I'm watching this part and we learn that his former girlfriend was a doctor and she moved to San Francisco, I thought there's another Full House or Fuller House reference because DJ Tanner is a doctor, a veterinarian, and she lives in San Francisco. I didn't know that this was a sequel. And then
What
I
is it a
figured it out
sequel
later.
to? I didn't know that either.
It's a sequel to Christmas Under Wraps, which starred Candace Cameron Bure. And there's two different stories. I don't think we'll ever know the truth, but the first story is that it was written for her, and then they found out that she was leaving, and they rewrote the whole movie. The second story is it was not written for her. It was written for Jodie Sweetin, and they decided to go this different direction with her, with the story. I'm inclined to believe the first.
Mhm.
Right.
Because they filmed it so long ago, I'm thinking, well, they must have already been planning to film this movie at
Right.
that point.
That
And
seems
then,
much more likely.
Mhm.
you know, so yeah, so they had to cut the Lauren character out and move Erica's character in. And I think they did a really good
Under
job.
Wraps.
I do too. And it just so happens that they were both on the same sitcom growing up. But once I figured that out, I kept expecting Lauren, or maybe wishing, because I knew she wasn't on that network anymore, wishing that Lauren, Candace Cameron Bure, would come back in some capacity in the movie, but it never happened.
How fun would that be?
That would be
Oh my
really
gosh, I had no idea. Now I want to go back and watch that one. I'll watch it while I fold laundry tonight.
And I appreciated that there were no jabs at her character. There were no jabs like at why she left or anything like that wrapped up in the movie. It was just, this is what happened. She left and that's it. We're done
Mhm.
talking about it. So I appreciated that a lot.
It was done in a really mature way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And I think as people and as actresses, they both want the best for each other. They seem to be very good friends. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's probably any animosity there.
No, I don't think so.
Mm-mm. And Jodie's not. Jodie, because we're on first name basis.
My gal pal Jodie.
Yeah, she's not contracted with Hallmark because she's putting out a Lifetime movie this year too.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So Erica arrives in Garland, Alaska. Did anybody find out if Garland is a real place?
It's a fictional town. I looked that up.
Oh, darn it.
It sounds lovely though.
Yes.
I've never been to Alaska and I've always wanted to go. So I was thinking we should add Garland to our list of places to visit, but apparently it's
can't.
not real.
No, it's not, sadly.
Luckily though, and I'll talk about this later, but the inn is real and we can visit the inn. So
The Garland Inn?
well, it's not called that, but the inn that they filmed in looks exactly the same.
I'm glad you found that because I did an internet search and I could not find any information on the actual inn. So,
Oh yes.
I would
Okay,
love to
stay
hear more
tuned.
about that.
I'll tell you guys
Okay.
about
Oh,
that.
boy.
So Erica arrives at the inn and she meets Claire, who has the cutest hat on. I love her little beret. So adorable.
She is adorable.
mhm.
And she is played by Jennifer Aspen, who was also in Friends. She played a character who was in it very briefly, like one scene, maybe two. Her name was Michelle, and she was a weird girl that Ross picked up at Central Park who didn't want to use public bathrooms, so had to come up to his apartment to use his bathroom. And she told Rachel that she could be her new mommy because she thought Rachel was his daughter.
Why don't I remember that episode?
It's hilarious. Look it up. It's so, in fact, I think she might be wearing a hat in that episode too. But anyways, it's so funny. It's a great scene. She just plays a total airhead who, thinks that this 35-year-old woman is a kid.
That's hilarious.
So they chit chat, and then Erica and Andy meet for the first time and briefly discuss Sharon's desire to buy the inn, after which he escorts her to her beautiful room.
Okay, so when they enter the inn, I was blown away. I loved it. My first thought was, I want to stay there. It looks like a Christmas magic land. It's so charming and sweet and cute. And then he brings her up to her room, and I was disappointed. I thought that the room looked like any other run-of-the-mill hotel room that someone threw a Christmas tree in. I wanted it to be more magical.
I kind of felt the same way. It was your basic, you know, okay hotel that you go and stay in with your family when you need to, but it's not like a resort feel. It had a tree. She mentioned that there were touches of Andy everywhere in the room, and I thought, where? I didn't see any. It's your basic bed and your nightstand, and I think they could have done more with that.
She mentions that he made the dresser, he made the bedside tables. I'm like, he made all this furniture.
They came from IKEA.
What?
And that's the thing too, is that it looked like IKEA furniture.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to make the point that it's handmade, handcrafted furniture, then make it look like that.
Yeah, you can definitely go to a thrift store and find some sort of cool bedside table to make it look like it's been homemade, not your basic boxy little bedside table that apparently he made.
Well, especially because they only show the one room. They don't show the rest of the room. So it really probably wouldn't have been that much money to rent some furniture, bring something in. Because I think after looking at the pictures of the inn, the real inn, I think they probably just used the furniture that was in the room, which makes sense. But hotel furniture is built to be sturdy and all of these things. But in a Hallmark movie, we expect a little more, I don't know, a little more homey, frill. Yeah.
Cozy.
Yes. Yep. So a little more impracticality. It's fine. It's a movie. So they could have moved that furniture out and replaced it, I think.
Absolutely.
But, he was so busy building everything and the barn doors on the bathrooms, and he just, no wonder he's not making any money, because he's spending all this time building furniture.
Yeah, and where's this shop that he has for woodworking?
I mean, maybe he goes with the elves and makes it there. If we haven't said this yet, they allude through the whole movie that his father is Santa Claus. We never 100% hear them say it, but through the whole movie, that's kind of
they
the
make
message
little
they're
hints
sending.
at it.
Yes.
Their family business holiday shipping is actually Santa and his elves, led by head elf Cousin Joy.
Yes, Cousin Joy, who loves to knit.
Yes, and when we first see his dad, when they're FaceTiming in the beginning, and he's eating cookies, and Andy is telling him, Mom knows that you eat cookies at work all day, and he's, sitting behind this desk with his hot cocoa, and he's got his beard, and he's so jolly. And my very first thought was, this guy's Santa. This is Santa. Is this going to be a Santa movie? I was very, very excited.
Yeah, I liked how they wove it through. And they did that in Christmas Under Wraps too, where they wove it through, but they never actually came out and said, yep, we're the Santa family. Right. We have all these elves. They don't show anything going on in the factory or the workshop. It's like an unspoken kind of thing in the town that they just all know, but they don't talk about it. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so Erica and Andy, they head over to Hattie's Cafe to eat and catch up, since there's no room service and there's no coffee shop for 30 miles. So we got to go to Hattie's to eat.
Okay, I'm not going to Garland.
No,
I got to have a coffee shop.
Yeah, as soon as he said there's no coffee shop for 30 miles, I was like, this is a quaint little Christmas town. There should definitely be a holly jolly Christmas shop somewhere.
Absolutely. Eggnog lattes, peppermint mochas, gotta have it.
And if nothing else, Hattie's should have espresso.
Yeah, get the elves to make you an espresso machine, and then you can make your coffee. I loved the writing in this movie, all throughout this movie. But I love when they go in and Hattie's talking about the kind of food that she has and drinks, and she says, but we have the pink and blue sugars now. I just had to laugh.
She was very excited about that too.
Yes.
Yes. We're so excited.
They're getting the times.
Hattie was a favorite character of mine. I loved her personality. I loved all of the crazy concoctions she came up with, all the new recipes she was always having them try. The yam and fruitcake casserole especially really piqued my interest. And she asked if it needed more peppermint. So I'm very curious how that tasted. I just tried fruitcake for the first time last year and I actually loved it. I had never had it before. I just always assumed I hated it. And
It
I actually,
depends.
true, it depends on where it comes from, but I actually did really enjoy it. I can't say I would enjoy it with yam and peppermint, however.
No.
That sounds so gross. It's a lot of Christmassy flavors that should not be combined with one another.
Right.
Erica's character orders cocoa cornbread stuffing, and I thought, disgusting. Why would you?
Oh my gosh,
order
I
that?
thought it sounded so good.
Oh, I thought it sounded gross.
Okay, I just have to interject because I did a quick internet search on that yam and fruitcake casserole. I can't find one, but there are a few recipes for sweet potato fruitcake. So if you want to try those
Okay.
flavors together, that might work.
Add a little peppermint extract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'd leave that
Crushed
out.
candy
but-
cane.
Oh.
So gross.
Yuck. So, so the pair walks back to the inn after we're assuming that they ate. They don't show it, but we're assuming that they ate. And I love this scene because, like we said, they filmed in winter, and Jodie Sweetin's hair is messed up. And I love that her hair is messed up, that it looks like it's wet. And you don't normally see this in Hallmark movies. It's usually perfection from top to bottom. So I really, really appreciated that they just let that ride and didn't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, it was
because-
that fine, misty snow that gets your hair just stuck to your head. You can see their breath, but that's how it would normally be in the wintertime. You're not going to have this filter overlay. You're going to get wet and you're going to be cold. And they rolled with it. And I thought it was great. It was very genuine and it felt sincere.
The only thing I would say is that because they're in Alaska, obviously it's freezing. We're going to ignore the part that it's light out because it should be dark most of the time, right? In Alaska. But
Isn't that only in certain parts of Alaska?
oh, is it?
It depends. Yeah, like Fairbanks for sure. It's dark.
Okay, well,
in
we
the
don't know where
wintertime.
Garland is, so we'll just imagine it's somewhere where it's light out.
Mhm.
But they're never wearing hats or gloves. I'm thinking it's very cold. Wouldn't she put on a hat and gloves? And also, she's not dumb. She's from Seattle. She has other boots. Like,
Yes, they made reference to her fancy city boots and how she should have brought warmer boots. You would think that she would have been a little more prepared.
yeah, we get snow. We're in the Seattle area. We get snow enough to know, like, if you go to Alaska, you should probably not bring your really nice, expensive leather heeled boots.
Right. I have snow boots
Mhm.
and it snows maybe, once or twice a year here, but I still have snow boots. And you can bet if I was going to go to Alaska, I would pack them.
In the winter, yes, definitely. It's supposed
In
to snow here
fact-
next week.
Yeah. I would probably wear them on the plane.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that was funny, but it makes sense for what happens later with her boots. So after this scene, we get a really beautiful shot of the exterior of the inn. And this is where I'm going to tell you that it's a real live place that you can go to in Huntsville, Utah.
Wow.
So they use the interior and the exterior of this inn to film in. It's called the Compass Rose Lodge, and it actually has an observatory and a coffee shop and teepees. It's beautiful. And the rooms aren't nearly as jolly as they're depicted in the movie, but they look comfortable. And you can stay there for about $250 a night.
Oh my gosh. I want to go.
I know. We should
Family
totally go.
vacation. Yes.
Go to Huntsville, Utah. I'm
Bring
not
the
sure.
correct boots, though.
Yes.
I'm going to bring my expensive leather boots that I do not have.
But you can look them up on Google, and their website has all the activities, how much it costs to go up in the observatory. You can just go there and do a star watch, even if you're not staying there. So it's really, really cute. It's fun.
So cool. I love that.
So we see Erica at Hattie's next, where she tries some pork belly braised in eggnog.
Cool.
I just can't.
Can you braise in dairy?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, I'm no chef, but I don't think that that's standard practice.
And
I
would
guess-
you want to try? No.
No. Yeah. I guess the better question is, should you braise in dairy? Probably not.
No,
Ah.
eggnog should be in coffee or in bourbon, but not in pork belly.
Yeah. Or in pancakes or waffles, maybe.
French toast.
Fudge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fudge. Yes. So they start to talk about what it might look like if new ownership took over the inn. And Erica is clearly trying to convince the people that are gathering inside of the cafe that it would be a good thing to have somebody come in and market for the town, essentially.
Bring in tourism.
Yes. Which, I mean, she doesn't know this, but I'm kind of thinking they probably don't want tourism if Santa's doing his, workshopping up there.
However, if that's the case, then why would Santa's son open an inn?
True. Yes.
Yeah.
And if he's magic, why is Andy struggling so much financially with this inn?
I wondered too, why didn't Santa step in and help him out? But they did say that Frank is actually his name. He wanted Andy to step in and take over the family business and go ahead and sell the inn.
I
So
mean, if I had the choice between running an inn or being Santa Claus, one guess as to what I would choose.
You work one night a year. I mean, that's a sweet gig.
I want to fly with 8 tiny reindeer around the world in one night.
I
Thank
don't know
you.
if I want
Merry
them
Christmas.
tiny. Maybe a larger reindeer would be better. But yeah, I would take that job.
If presumably Andy's going to get married at some point, couldn't his wife run the inn when he is doing his Santa duties? And then they could,
Right.
swap back and forth and support each other, and then they could have both. But
Who
for some
better
reason,
to run an inn than Mrs. Claus?
true.
Yes.
Absolutely. Or Mrs. Holiday, as it were.
Mrs. Holiday.
With 2 L's.
Yes, with 2 L's. So the awkward flirting between Erica and Andy continues in the next scene, though they are darling. They're very cute. And then Erica makes dinner for him because she's not going to let him eat cereal for dinner. So she
In
decides to cook.
the industrial kitchen that they have at the hotel that does not offer room service. They don't have food at this hotel. He has 1 box of cereal and some canned goods. Where are the elves? Surely Mrs. Claus can come bake some cookies and deliver them for room service. When they entered this industrial kitchen, I couldn't help but think, what on earth? Of
Why
course,
did they
he's
have that?
running out of money. He's not making food and he has this kitchen.
Well, and Mrs. Claus is sitting at home. We established that she's like, I'm so bored. It's lonely here. I just hang out in my house.
In her beautiful cabin.
Yeah. So she could come and help her son out, right? Or she could teach somebody. Did he build this in or he purchased it from somebody?
I thought he purchased it
I think
Okay.
that's right.
and then like remodeled or
Mhm.
something.
So if it came with a kitchen and he just decided not to use it, okay. But if you're not making money, you should use the kitchen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Offer a continental breakfast at least.
Yeah.
Or
seriously.
hot cocoa.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Or espresso.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
inns like that, a lot of times, or B&Bs, they'll have at 5:00 come downstairs and we'll have fresh chocolate chip cookies and coffee and tea for you or whatever. That's like the bare minimum, right? That we should.
Although he did mention that every night they have mulled wine and eggnog.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
he is making mulled wine and eggnog in there somewhere.
I don't believe he's charging for it though. So
It's included.
come on over.
Free mulled wine, open bar. I don't.
This guy needs a new business model.
He needs some help. He needs Erica.
Yeah.
He needs
Yes,
Erica.
he needs Erica. And in this scene, we also get confirmation that Lauren, his ex-girlfriend, left Garland for a medical fellowship. This is where he tells Erica that that's what happened.
Mhm.
And they
Yes.
are no longer in touch.
Yes, they're no longer in touch. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I really kind of like this continuation because although we might hope that all relationships in Hallmark movies work out, they might not, you know? So I
Mhm.
kind of liked the idea of, okay, well, that was a great story, but they ended up breaking up. And then this is the next thing that's going to happen for them. So I kind of liked that. I thought it was cool.
I did too. And also the way that they left it, she's left for this fellowship. She's not coming back. So you didn't have this threat of someone coming in to interrupt this developing love story. And I like that too, because there seems like there's always somebody from the past that's going to show up and try to mess everything up.
Yes. And sometimes we just don't need that. Sometimes we
Mhm.
just need to know it's going to turn out okay.
Yes.
So Sharon, Erica's boss, continues to incessantly bother her about the sale of the inn. Andy has not made a decision yet, and Erica is really being very empathetic. She's really being understanding, not pressuring him at all, which I think is really cool because, again, in some other Hallmark movies where this type of situation is going on, they're really putting the pressure on because they want their promotion or whatever is going to happen back at home.
Well, and also Sharon is now dangling a new carrot because she's got this idea of this Ferris Lodging Group going global, and Erica can be the VP of Ferris Lodging Group. And so the promotion is getting bigger and bigger. So you can really see that Erica's torn between how she's developing these feelings for Garland and for Andy and this promotion that she's worked her whole career for.
Well, and the more that we learn about the Garland Inn, and as she's completing her evaluation of the property and the business, I can't help but wonder, why does Sharon want to buy this inn? It is in the middle of nowhere. There's not even a coffee shop nearby. There's no food except for Hattie's.
You can't fly directly in.
Right. You can't fly directly in. It's a small, low population. Tourism is basically non-existent. So why does she want this so bad that she's willing to offer this VP promotion just for closing this deal? You would think that that would be something that would be offered for closing a big deal, but this would really actually lose her money.
Well, yeah, she's loaded. They imply that she's loaded, right? People know who she is. So she's like a very successful businesswoman. Successful business people don't pay top dollar for failing businesses. It's just,
right.
You know, and we find out that she's willing to pay a lot of money for it. So if a business is failing, you're going to pay as little as is humanly possible. The amount of infrastructure that she would have to bring in order to make this place successful is a lot. So yeah, it just doesn't, that part does not make any sense at all.
No.
Maybe she knows that that's where Santa is. So she's trying to swoop in on the North Pole.
She's trying to get on the nice list.
Or maybe she's trying to create, what was it, Santa Claus 2 or 3, where Jack Frost takes over and he creates like Santa Land and everybody can come to the North Pole and
yes, isn't it?
Maybe
ride the reindeer and
yes. Yep, that's right.
Okay, so it's kiss time, of course. The two head up to the observatory where Erica trips into Andy's arms. Yeah. And then they kiss. Oh, darn it. It's a little tight in there. So she trips and falls into his lips.
She falls into his lips. So my question is, why is this the first time she's seen the observatory? She has been evaluating this property for days. She loves astronomy. It's her thing. That was the big push to get her to go, is to see this observatory. And yet she's been there for a couple of days. And all of a sudden, Andy says, I have a surprise for you, which first of all, it's not a surprise.
No surprise.
Okay? It's gigantic. You can see it very clearly. It was not a surprise. And she was evaluating the number of burners on the stove in the industrial kitchen, yet she had not yet visited the observatory. Cute scene, but it seemed a little unlikely.
Yeah. That would be the first place she would go, you would think.
Well, yeah, they could have positioned it differently by having him take her up there to show her a certain constellation, or, you know, be very cliche and do the Aurora Borealis or something like that, you know? So implying that she had been up there, but that he wanted to show her something special. That would have been much
That would make more sense.
realistic.
Mhm.
Right.
Because that probably was one of the first things she did, right? Was run up there and take pictures,
Right.
and all
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah, that would have been my thought because she had to send pictures of the property to her boss.
Mhm.
So it would have been very strange for her to not visit the observatory. But surprise, I want to show you this place that you clearly didn't notice before. I don't know. It was
And just for her own benefit, she would have gone there right away the first night she was there, because the sky in Alaska with all the stars is beautiful from what I've heard. And wouldn't you think that would be the first thing on her list?
She was busy counting the refrigerator and all the other things. So in the next few scenes, we see that Erica's feeling conflicted about acquiring the inn. Andy is broke, we find out, and Sharon wants the deal closed ASAP. So Andy's making zero money on this lovely property. He's probably, I mean, I can't even imagine how much money he's dumped in. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably.
Well, those bedside tables alone.
Yes. Yes.
And the amount of money he's spending on Hattie's Diner because he won't make himself food in his amazing kitchen.
Yes. And yet Sharon is very insistent on paying top dollar for this place. It doesn't seem like Andy's really trying to hide that he's not making any money from Sharon, because obviously he tells Erica
Mhm.
that he's broke, which is probably a really dumb thing to do, but he does it anyways. So, it is what it is. So next we have a brilliant marketing strategy incoming. Okay.
I have notes on this.
Brilliant.
I
Erica
have
says,
an idea.
Erica says, who is she even talking to? She's talking to Andy. She's
talking to Andy.
in Hattie's. Okay. They're chatting about what to do, how to create buzz. What are we on the 22nd of December or the 23rd at this point? We're very far into the Christmas season. Okay.
Mhm.
So you got to sell the location, not the inn, sell the town, right? Sell Christmas. You got to get write-ups in big publications because that's super easy to do and you can do it in a day. And
Yeah.
then
You just make a
decorate
call.
and decorate more. Okay.
Decorate.
That is the plan.
Post events, advertise. And Andy is amazed by these innovative ideas.
Why
He's
did
never
not
thought of
think
this
of
before.
this?
I need to advertise. I need to tell people about my inn.
Well, and also she's saying that he needs to decorate more. Hello, it was very, very decorated. And I did not see a difference in the before and after.
No.
No.
They should have pulled back on the decorations to make this more impactful, because
Mhm.
the first thing I thought was, why does he need to decorate more? For the
Right.
0 guests that are there, he needs to decorate more. Why? I don't understand. Or there's 2 people staying there aside from Erica, right? There's a couple there. So yeah, this is one of these blinding flashes of the obvious that just is not.
But as a consumer, I mean, if you have twinkle lights, I will come.
Yeah,
Put
I won't go anywhere.
just one more string and I am there. Brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
And her other idea about having a mixer for your guests.
Oh yes.
Which maybe this is just because I don't like people 100% of the time. I don't think that I would go to a hotel to attend a Christmas Eve mixer. I want to be with my family. I don't want to be around strangers.
Mhm.
Don't bother me. Leave me alone. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to go make friends.
But I think this is another one of those small town communities where everyone knows everyone. That's Garland for you. And they're all going to come together and save the inn. So if there's a common cause and they all love Andy, they're going to show up on Christmas Eve.
Right.
But the thing is,
but
yeah, the thing is, the mixer, they say invite everybody in town. Okay, we've met pretty much everybody in town already, right?
Mhm.
So who are they going to
There's
tell?
nine people.
Yeah. Who are they going to spread people in Garland aren't going to come stay at this hotel. They're already here. So I don't know what kind of business this mixer is really going to generate for them, especially with all the free alcohol they're giving away.
Right.
True.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm not understanding.
No. Yeah. Invite some bloggers, fly some bloggers, travel bloggers in, But
But
that
he
would
can't
require
because
some
he's
planning.
broke.
He has no money. Get Santa to go pick them up in his sleigh.
Yes.
Right. Free travel.
Okay, so I love her sweater in the scene. It's like a mint green and pink Fair Isle sweater.
Yes.
So
It's a
cute.
little
And
shorter.
yes.
Mhm.
And I searched for it and I could not find it anywhere. It's very bummed.
Is that the one that she's wearing with the new boots?
Yes. Oh, I skipped that. I didn't talk about the new boots.
Yeah, so there's
missed
a
that part.
scene where the night after they kiss in the observatory, or the
Yes.
morning after,
Yes.
she opens her door to her hotel room and there's a box on the ground, presumably from Andy, and it's a pair of nice warm snow boots. And these boots are so stinking cute.
They're so cute.
I love them, and they look super
But he's
warm.
broke. He's broke, and he bought her boots.
Maybe he went to the general store and traded them alcohol for boots.
No, his dad
Maybe.
is Santa.
Oh, yeah, true.
Right. He just hit up the boot making elves.
Yeah,
I was
the cobbler elves.
okay. So we covered that they decided to host a mixer that will encourage people to share about the inn. And then they're going to add in a secret Santa for good measure. Then they've got the perfect party. They're going to host the mixer on the 23rd, assign secret Santas, and then you better go shopping fast because you need to have your gift on the 24th.
I need at least a month
Yeah.
for Secret Santa. I need to mull over, think about what I want to get for that person. I need to, go shopping like 3 times before I can make a decision.
Yep.
This rushing is really stressing me out.
And they're
Well-
all going to go to the general store, right? To buy
Yes, I was
something.
going to say, there's not a lot of choices in Garland. So,
Yeah, what is the general store is groceries, hardware, and ski supplies. So
and
those are your
jeans
options.
lined with sweatshirt material to
Yeah.
keep you extra warm, which they did mention in the first movie. I can't remember the name of it again. Jessica, you have to help me out. But
Christmas under wraps.
yes, Lauren had to buy some of those because she also was unprepared for the weather in Garland.
That is so funny. And I loved when he said that jeans lined with sweatshirt material, and Jodie Sweetin was so on it. And I don't know, this could have been part of the script, but just the way that she said it, and she was like, that sounds awful. It's just like, yeah, it really does.
It does.
It reminds me of those fleece lined leggings. I cannot wear those. They
Mm-mm.
make me sweaty. Ugh, no.
It's too
They're
much.
so thick. You know what
Mhm.
other kind of leggings are terrible is I see all over Instagram these fashion influencers with their fake leather leggings, and they look so cute. I will tell you, I ordered a pair and I felt like Ross trying to get out of my leather pants. I put them on and it was instantly a pool of sweat
Uh-huh.
inside my leggings. They just like suck all the life out of you. It was disgusting. I had them on for like 10 minutes and I took them off and they were soaking wet. The
Yeah.
whole thing.
It's like those silver exercise suits that they wear in Christmas Vacation. Todd and what's her name, Margot,
Yes.
because
They're
they're designed to make you
terrible.
sweat. Yeah, it
What?
doesn't sound good.
How do
They
people
need,
wear
like-
these?
They need like venting in the crotch or something.
No, but I truly felt like I wonder if baby powder would help with this. Does anyone wear them and not sweat like
I
you're in a
can't imagine.
sauna? They're in my drawer still if anyone wants to try. I've only
I'll
sweated
pass,
in them
thank you.
once.
Maybe Lumi should do some kind of campaign about those, Put on
Oh, yeah.
this deodorant. Then
The
you'll be good
ultimate
to go.
sweaty legging fix. They should sell them in Garland. I'm sure
Yes.
they'd keep you warm.
So now we're going to cue the getting ready for the party montage. Of course, we love a montage. And Erica is repeatedly ignoring Sharon's phone calls. Sharon cannot stop calling her. Sharon is being incredibly annoying. And Sharon must only work, and that's it.
Oh, that's
For
clear.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. She
do
doesn't have a
anything else.
family. There's no way.
She lives at the office. She sits there and calls Erica over and over again.
Mhm.
So after the little montage, then we go to the day of the party, and the two of them look so cute. Like you said, her dress is gorgeous, so pretty. And they show them chit-chatting back and forth. And I love their eye contact throughout that scene. They keep looking at each other, and it's so cute.
Even when they're across the room from each other.
Can we segue back a second, though, to the surprise that Andy had for her, the little coffee cafe?
Oh, yeah. I skipped that part because I thought it was dumb.
Well, it was dumb because he's broke.
And you don't build a coffee shop in one day.
In one day.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Entire coffee shop. Somehow he gets an espresso machine in, which Hattie hasn't been able to do in decades. He's got coffee. He's got espresso. He's got pastries from Hattie's cafe. He's got tables and chairs. But he's broke.
And who made the cappuccino? They hand her
nobody knows how.
Perfect cappuccino. He doesn't know how to make anything but cereal, and Hattie has blue and pink sugars. So who made the cappuccino?
The elves, I guess.
It's a magical Christmas cappuccino.
Well, we should note that this coffee shop does exist in the inn in real life. So
it does, because it looked fake to me.
No, it's real.
Okay.
So there is a real coffee shop in the inn, but I don't think they built it in a day with zero money.
No, I don't think so. Did you guys pick up on the cheesy line of the entire movie when she was wearing that red dress? And Andy says, "A woman like you in a dress like that on a night like this, you deserve an escort."
You deserve a proper escort.
Or a proper escort.
And Jodie Sweetin looked like she was ready to about die. She takes his arm and she's like, "Thank you." But she looked like she wanted to deck him. Like, don't ever say that to me. Are you kidding?
Who talks like that?
Proper escort? Like, just hold my hand, you creep.
How about you look beautiful, shall we?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the writing was so good in the rest of the movie. I'm like, why did she have to throw that one in there?
Yeah.
And they had to. You can't get through a whole movie
You have
and
to
not
have that
throw
one.
something like that in there.
Yeah. Yep. So Erica and Andy spend some time at the outdoor fire pit, and she brings up the gift of the Magi, which is something she is going to suddenly become very obsessed with.
Yes.
And don't know why, but it is what it is. So this is a reason why they should not be together. Because if he sells the inn, then he's losing what he wants. And if she doesn't get her promotion, then she's losing what she wants. So they shouldn't be together, she says. Andy goes for a walk, and when he gets back, the party is over. His party, he left, and
Everyone's gone.
And Hattie is there cleaning up the inn.
Yes.
And he says,
Yeah.
"You don't have to do that.
Hattie.
That's not your job." I thought that was such a weird response. Like, how about, "Thank you so much for doing that. You didn't have to do that. That was really kind of you." Instead, it was, "You don't have to do that. That's not your job."
And I'm also wondering, he has zero staff. I mean, I know he's not making money, but he doesn't have anybody to help him.
That seems like a security issue.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he's washing the sheets. He's making the mulled wine. He's, scraping gum off the bottom of his handmade dresser. Like, he's
But are there any sheets to wash? Because no one's staying
Well,
there.
true.
So-
Yeah. Some problem.
And also, does he live there? We never hear anything about where he lives.
Presumably. Maybe he lives with his
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah, I assume that he lives there somewhere.
There
One
are
of the
teepees on the
empty
property that we never see. So maybe he lives in there.
He lives in a teepee.
There are many empty rooms, so he could have his choice.
Maybe he sleeps in the observatory, and that's why Erica wasn't allowed up there.
Maybe.
It's like a Beauty and the Beast situation. Stay out of the West Wing.
My precious telescope is up there. Oh my gosh. So then he finds a note from Erica saying that she's leaving. And for some reason, she's going to go stay with his mom, who I'm not sure she's ever met.
No.
Very
She
weird.
hasn't. She just what? If you're leaving, then leave. Don't go stay at Mrs. Claus's house, especially when she's your not boyfriend's mom. So weird.
Very weird. But she didn't want to ask, what's the guy's name that drives not the
Martin?
Uber, but Martin. She didn't want to ask Martin to drive 2 hours in the middle of the night to get her back to the airport or back to a town where she could book another room.
Wouldn't you think she'd call up Hattie or something, somebody that she had met before?
Maybe.
Why would she choose his mother?
Well, and I think she could have stayed at the hotel or at the inn and then left very early the next morning and still had the same effect.
Yes.
Agreed.
How did she have his mom's phone number? Did she just show up at her house? I don't understand any of this part.
Well, she said, I called your mom.
Where did she get her phone number?
Maybe she asked Frank. I don't know. Hattie seems to know everybody. Maybe she put her in touch.
So the scenes at his mom's house are weird. I don't like this part of the movie. This is the one part that I'm like, they should have done something else. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Hattie would have made way more sense. And she still could have had these same exact conversations.
Yes.
Yes.
I honestly don't even think we needed Andy's mom in this movie.
We didn't.
Mm-mm.
We didn't need to see her. They talked about her and that would have been enough. I thought she was adorable and I really liked her, but every scene that we saw her in, I found myself thinking we could have either done without this scene or this is weird. Even earlier in the movie when Andy goes to visit his mom and they're just sitting on the couch having a conversation, they've got their hot cocoa. They're sitting there with these empty cocoa mugs. And it was like they didn't even try to hide it in this one. They just are flinging around these empty mugs. I was like, gosh darn it, just at least put some marshmallows in there so it looks like there's something happening. You can see the bottom of the mug. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's very weird. I think I would have eliminated all of those pieces altogether. Yes, his mom was cute and she's a fine actress, but I just felt like none of that moved the story forward.
No, it was unnecessary.
Yeah, and where it was supposed to, it was weird.
Although she did allude to having the family business conversation with Erica when she said there are some secrets about our family that you should know. And then it cut scenes, so you don't actually see that conversation, which I did like. I like that they didn't show that conversation. Again, they just alluded to the Santa story, but they didn't come right out and say it.
But again, Hattie could have done that because she knows, right? We've seen that she knows. Yeah. Yes. So we see Erica in this personal struggle about the inn, about Andy and what she should do next. She talks with her best friend and then she talks to Andy's mom about it, because she's feeling very close to her all of a sudden, even though she doesn't know her at all. And
what a strange thing to think about ex-boyfriends from the past. If you're dating someone and you're thinking about breaking up with them, do you talk to their mom about it? Perhaps not.
Whom you've never met, right? Because
especially, yes.
They dated while they were both in Seattle. So she's never met this mom.
Right.
Yeah. She could have talked to her mom. We assume that they have a good relationship. She was going to go see her, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. And I think the best friend, Stephanie, played the role of somebody who was on her side. So again, we didn't need the mom.
Right. Yeah. Because she did talk to Stephanie, who told her maybe it's time to stop listening to your head and start listening to your heart. Because she told her about the gift of the Magi reference. And Stephanie told her that, the real gift of the Magi was them being selfless and putting each other first.
Right. She had missed the entire point of the story.
Yeah. Like you're a total cynic. How do you not understand what the point of that story is?
The point of that story is they shouldn't have gotten each other anything for Christmas.
Yes. They should break up.
She'd still have her hair.
And the other thing too, that I thought was weird was, okay, she doesn't know Andy's mom really at all. She stays the night. She wakes up in the morning. She's clearly made her breakfast and she doesn't want to eat it. I'm not hungry. What? The stranger just made you breakfast. Eat it.
And I thought she was flying out in the morning. Why is she still there?
Yeah, she was going to leave right away in the morning.
Maybe Martin was running late. I don't know.
Maybe. Speaking of Martin, so Martin is our town taxi driver and newspaper editor, reporter. He's adorable, very sweet character. And throughout the movie, we see him and Hattie kind of flirting awkwardly. And I loved the scene where he went into the coffee shop and Hattie had 2 coffees and handed him 2 coffees. And he said, I only ordered the one or whatever. And she said, well, the other one's for me. And I just thought that was such a cute way for her to invite him on a date. And just like the mom and the coffee shop owner in Pumpkin Everything, how they have their own little love story in the background. I felt like Martin and Hattie did that in this movie, and it was really cute. I really enjoyed it.
It was sweet to see it develop, and they didn't need to take it any further than that, but I'm glad that they put that in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, and usually they don't give any kind of love story to like the comical townsperson. So I'm glad that they did that. I thought that was really sweet.
Yep, I did too.
So the next scene between Andy and his dad is magical. I love it. I love how they nod to the fact that he's Santa, but they never come out and say it. And his dad understands that he doesn't want to take over the family business, and he was just too afraid to tell him. And he's very understanding.
Yeah, I thought this scene was really sweet too. I loved their conversation. The one question I had though is how come every conversation Andy has with his dad, they're on FaceTime? They live in the same town, and I would have loved to have seen them sit down and have a hot cocoa together or something in person together. And so I wondered if there was an issue like with filming, if they were in different locations, maybe they couldn't do that. But I wondered why they're always on FaceTime when they live in such a small town. They're clearly in close proximity.
Yeah. Interesting. And he could have had that conversation that he had with his mom with his dad. I would have liked to see that in person as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. My assumption would be that the actor who played the dad maybe couldn't get to wherever they were filming or something like that. But they wanted the continuity because it was the same person from the first movie.
Right.
I liked how they wrapped this up and gave us this kind of finality of like, okay, it's okay that Joy is now going to take over the family business because she cares about it more and probably wants to do it more than Andy does.
Right. And I loved Cousin Joy. I thought she was such a fun character. She was so jolly. And I loved how she was always sending people her hand knitted sweaters and her scarves. And I thought, I want a hand knit sweater with a shark wearing a Santa hat. It was just she was such a fun character. And I would love to see them do another sequel with her in the role of Santa Claus.
Oh, that would be fun. And I kept expecting them to somehow bring in her sweaters as a means to save the inn. Maybe she goes into production on these fancy Christmas sweaters, and that's going to help boost the inn. But
that's a cute idea.
I wondered if that Fair Isle sweater that Erica was wearing was supposed to be something that Joy made her, because I imagine she wouldn't have brought that from Seattle. Probably didn't really
I wondered that too.
She would have brought with her. Yeah. So
right.
It wasn't as campy as the other stuff, but still it could have been knit if she wanted to knit it. Okay, so now we're at the gift exchange party where Andy and Erica just happen to choose each other, and Erica just kind of shows up there at the party, and Andy doesn't seem really too surprised to see her there. He's like, oh, okay, great.
I did notice though, he kept looking at the door like he was hoping she was going to be there. And then she shows up.
Okay. So she breaks it off with him kind of in a rude way, and then everything's better. It's fine because she shows back up.
Poor Andy.
But did you notice throughout the gift exchange, the other people at the party, the different Hallmark product placement? There's like the Hallmark tumbler that says, I don't know, something about believe in the magic that the mom Faith is holding. There's the the snowman baseball hat. And I was thinking, they are so smart with their product placement, because I'm sure there's people watching thinking, I'm going to look up that snowman hat and get it for my dad for Christmas.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that.
I
Yeah, it's
didn't
all
either.
the
That's
little touches,
clever.
the gift bags, the pillows on the couch, all Hallmark stuff.
Oh my
It's-
gosh.
I much prefer that because I did watch a movie a couple weeks ago, a Christmas movie. I forget what it was called. Maybe it was A Christmas Inn. It had Tia Mowry in it. And they kept talking about that tree company.
Oh,
Balsam
Balsam
Hill?
Fir or
Yes!
Balsam Hill. Yeah.
They brought it up like 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. And I was just like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous.
No, there are subtle ways that you can do that. You can show
No.
the packaging.
Yeah, they
There
kept
was one I watched. Oh gosh, I can't remember what movie it was, but it was a made for TV movie. And there was a scene where he was pouring them drinks. And I think it was Bailey's, maybe, but it zoomed in on him pouring into these glasses, zoomed right in on the label, and it's pouring out just beautifully. And it was a long time that it was zoomed in on this. And I'm thinking, okay, I
Sponsored
get
by.
it. Can we move on now?
I've seen that before, and I think it's Hallmark movies in the past, several years ago, where it was a running theme. Every movie you could see them open the cabinet and there was Folgers coffee in there.
Yes.
So they must have had some sort of sponsorship deal.
Very
That's too
clear product placement.
So Andy and Erica just happened to choose each other for the gift exchange, of course, out of all these people.
Mhm.
Shocking
Yes.
it turned out that way.
I mean, I should have looked up the odds. What are the odds that they would have chosen each other? Very small. But they go outside because they want to exchange their gifts privately. They're like,
Mhm.
bye party. We know we
Mhm.
invited you all here, but we're going to leave. So,
As a
out.
guest, I would have been very disappointed.
yeah, just like we did yesterday. We left yesterday. We're going to leave again today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a walk. Bye.
In the dark, in the snow by myself.
Yeah.
Then they exchange their gifts, and Andy gives Erica a star that he named after her. And what does Erica give Andy? Because I didn't write it down.
Oh,
It was-
geez.
It was
the
like
article.
an article framed in a picture frame
Oh, yeah. She clipped an article out of a magazine.
about the
framed
inn.
it.
Yeah.
Right, that they magically got written in like
From
a
her
day and a half.
brilliant advertising. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Anytime anyone names a star after someone, I'm like, you got that from A Walk to Remember.
Mhm.
Yes.
Every single time.
Again
Yeah.
with the star reference though, because we have the star pin and now we
Mhm.
have the actual star.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And astronomy.
And if you
And
don't know what we're
astrology.
talking about, you'll have to go back and listen to our first podcast where we talked about the
Yes.
star pin.
Because you're
So-
a star.
So we're going to close out the movie with Erica quitting her job and planning to get hired by Andy at his inn that's making zero money.
Andy's still broke, but he's going to hire her.
As the marketing director.
I can only imagine that she's used to making big bucks too. So
Oh yeah,
How does this
100K
gonna
plus.
work?
Yeah.
It's make believe.
it's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah. At this point, I was just like, you know what? I really am enjoying this movie and I'm just going to pretend like this is logical.
So they kiss and all is right with the world. And that's the end. Oh, and then they see Santa fly across the sky.
Erica says to Andy, she says, your mom told me a lot of family secrets. And he's like, oh, she did. And then she says something along the lines of, but Santa Claus, really?
Mhm.
And she's just joking, like, obviously that's not true. And then they see Santa fly across the sky. And I really loved that they included the magic of a Santa Claus story,
Mhm.
but they never directly addressed it because I think if they had, it could have potentially ruined the movie.
Mhm.
But the
It
way
would have
that
made
was
it a
just-
totally different movie.
right. The way that it was just kind of a little bit of hidden magic in the background, I thought
Mhm.
was really special and fun. And I really enjoyed that.
I did too.
And again, we've got the real fire, the real snow. It's just, it feels very holiday-ish. I loved
Mhm.
it.
And I really liked that it did feel like the end of the movie. I feel like a lot of the time when we reach the end of the Hallmark movie, there's a kiss, they zoom in, it's credits roll, and it feels very rushed, like they didn't properly close out the movie, but this
Mhm.
did feel finished. It felt like a full story was told and it ended at the right time. And I really liked that.
And I hope they make another one. Honestly, I want to
I
see
do
their
too.
wedding.
Their wedding, their
Yes.
children, maybe.
Yes.
They
I
could
want to
get
see
married.
Joy work in the shipping business.
Yeah, they could get married at the inn.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want to see the inn busy. See that her
Yeah.
marketing plans have worked and that
Uh-huh.
they're busy.
Well, someone's got to buy an airplane, right? To get
Yes.
people from the airport to Garland faster than old Martin
Oh,
bringing them
Martin's taxi.
bringing him in his cab.
Well, maybe Martin started his own taxi business and now he's the big boss man and he's got, employees.
Mhm.
He's working
True.
full-time at the newspaper.
Or maybe the next movie is about him and Hattie's wedding, and Eric and Andy are planning it for them and helping put it together.
At the inn.
Can you
Yes.
imagine Hattie's wedding dress?
Oh,
It would be a spectacle.
yes.
Can you imagine the menu?
Oh, yeah. The wedding
Cocoa
cake.
cornbread for everyone.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Although an eggnog wedding cake would probably be pretty good. So
That would be
yeah,
delicious.
probably would. That sounds great.
okay, so I want to talk about the fashion a little bit. Obviously we talked about the Fair Isle sweater. I love that. But the pink double-breasted jacket that she wore during the first half of the movie. Oh,
Mhm.
I love
So
it.
cute. Mhm.
And I couldn't find the exact one, but I found one very similar. It's a BCBG jacket. And it was $109. So it wasn't
Not
crazy
bad.
expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was super cute. It was on sale. I think normal price was like $400, but it
Oh,
was,
wow.
it was really cute. I really, really liked that. And then
And
of course
pink.
the boots.
Pink
Yes.
is great on her.
Pink. Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. I loved the pink on her. What about you guys? Did you like any of the fashion in particular?
I loved the red dress. I thought it
Mhm.
fit her like a glove. It was so flattering and the color was beautiful. They had her in red lipstick to match and it just said holiday party to me.
Yeah, I loved that it was so feminine and beautiful and really figure flattering, but it was still modest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked how it was longer. It went like almost like halfway down her calves and it was like it had a sleeve, but it still had that really pretty V-neck and the tie around the waist. And I thought it was so beautiful. I loved
Mhm.
it.
And really all the sweaters were really cute. They put her in a lot of really cute sweaters. I don't
Mhm.
usually pay attention to the guys' fashion very much.
The
I
only thing
mean,
that stood out was the
Andy-
shark
Yeah.
knitted sweater.
Andy
That was
had
weird.
hand knit sweaters the whole movie
Yeah.
and scarves. Speaking of sweaters, in the very first scene that Erica sees him, he comes out with the sweater on, but stuck on his head. And he asks her for help. And I'm just like, what is happening here? You've got it on your whole body. You just can't get it over your head. You can't pull your sweater down.
What are you, 3?
You're going to ask this random executive to help you put your shirt on?
Yeah, at this point, he doesn't know it's Erica, and he's having this
Right.
random woman help him with his
Well,
sweater.
And Claire is standing right there, right? So couldn't he
Uh-huh.
ask her because he knows her?
Yeah, I would
If he
think.
really needs help. Or
Oh,
just
that's
take it
pretty
off.
funny.
For the
Uh-huh.
love of
Right.
God, just take it off. So I tried to keep track of the number of times they said that's Garland for you because it was a lot.
Oh, yeah. Everyone in town.
Yeah.
Their
there were-
reply to everything was just, that's Garland for you.
I counted 7 times, but I have an inkling that I might have missed a few. There might have been more than that, but at
Yeah,
I
least
wouldn't
said
be
7.
it a lot.
surprised. It was a lot. Yeah.
Did they say that a lot in the first movie too?
I don't remember that. And I think that I would.
I'm going
I'm-
to go watch it tonight.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
gonna have to
wait.
go
I'm
back
so
and watch it.
excited.
You're going to
too.
watch it tonight. It's like 11 o'clock.
Oh, man.
I don't care. I'm going to watch it.
I probably will watch it anyway.
So one thing that I was disappointed about when I did research on this movie was that there was no interviews or behind the scenes stuff like we've had for the last couple of movies.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
You find out little tidbits about their interactions
Mhm.
and filming.
Yeah.
I missed that.
And I don't know if it's because they were on location in an actually cold place, if there wasn't anywhere to film them or what, but
Or
that's
is it a
kinda-
newer thing that they're doing because this was filmed, you said, a year ago?
a year ago, yeah. So I was kind of bummed. I even tried to find like maybe there was individual interviews. I couldn't find anything.
Interesting.
So no extra behind the scenes stuff on this one, but maybe next time. So that means I have no games because they didn't play any games. So I don't have any.
That's Garland for you. Well, that was a good one. I like that movie. Are we going to give it
Yes.
a rating?
Yeah. What should we use? Mulled wine? Ugly sweaters?
Stars,
Bedside tables?
Christmas scarves.
Christmas
Christmas sweaters.
stars? Yeah. Observatories?
Cocoa cornbreads.
Cocoa cornbread. Sure. I actually am gonna rate this one high. I'm gonna give this one a 5. I loved this one. There's nothing in it that would make me not watch it again. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of Hallmark movies that I like, but I probably wouldn't go back and watch again. This one,
Mhm.
I would definitely watch it again. So I thought the acting was excellent. I thought the writing was really good. I think just being on location added to the magic of it. So 5 cocoa cornbreads for me.
Okay. I am going to rate high as well, only I'm going to go with a 4.5. I agree with everything you said. You're probably not going to agree with me, but I did not. I don't want to say I didn't like them together. I thought they were cute together. They felt more like friends to me. I just wasn't getting the romance, and I don't know what it is. Maybe he's a little older than I would expect him to be for her. And maybe it's because on Fuller House, she always dated these younger rock and roll kind of guys. Maybe I've got that in my head. But because I didn't feel that chemistry as strongly as I would have liked to, I'm giving it 4.5. What is it? Cocoa cornbreads.
Okay. I am going to echo you, Mom. 4.5 cocoa cornbreads for me. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. Like I said, my favorite combination is romance and magic. And so anytime that you throw Santa Claus into a Hallmark movie, I'm all for it. I rate it a 4.5 because I thought that the Mrs. Claus scenes could have been completely cut out. And I thought it would have made a lot more sense for her to go to Hattie's or stay at the hotel, not go to his mom's house. So just some of those things I thought were a little bit disconnected, maybe could have been thought out a little bit better. But aside from that, I loved it. I thought it was very sweet and it gave me Christmas magic. And that's what I am looking for when I watch these movies. So it was a good one. 4.5 Christmas cocoa cornbreads.
One thing that just came up for me too, Mom, was that you mentioned how she dated younger guys on Fuller House. I never once thought Stephanie Tanner while I was watching this movie.
Yes,
which
I
really
completely agree.
I liked that because sometimes you don't have that where you're like, they're the same. They're the same in everything, right? But she did not give me any kind of Stephanie Tanner vibes at all. I fully believed that she was Erica McNichol, which that was another weird thing that Andy kept calling her that, her full name.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she did an excellent job. And I also did not ever think that Stephanie Tanner, she just was Erica McNichol and she did a great job.
Well, and I think that speaks to her ability as an actress, that she can do different roles and she's not typecast into one certain type.
Okay, so our movie next week is going to be, Danny, take it away.
Destined at Christmas. I am so excited about this one because it is the story of two people who meet on Black Friday. And, we spent a lot of years doing some crazy Black Friday shopping. I feel like the past few years, Black Friday has become something entirely different. It's more online shopping now. So I'm really excited that this movie tells the story of the traditional Black Friday shopping, the hustle and bustle of going out and fighting the crowds and doing your shopping. And it's two unlikely people that would meet as they're shopping, and it tells their story of how they're destined.
Is this the one where they get stuck in the big box store?
No, I believe they meet and they're having a great time together, and it's, crazy Black Friday shopping. So there's people everywhere and they get separated. And then it's about them, running into each other again, or because of fate or destiny or whatever you want to call it.
Ooh,
So
fun.
I'm excited. Yeah. Looks like a good one.
What network is this one on? Do you know? Is that Hallmark? Probably.
Hang on. Uno momento. This one is GAC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So whether you're stuffing your face with cocoa cornbread
or running an inn you can't afford,
that's Garland for you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.